My name is Todd Bennett, and I would like to welcome you to Israel Connection by saying hello to our English-speaking friends, hola to our Spanish-speaking friends, and shalom to everyone. Shalom is a Hebrew word that can mean hello or goodbye, but it also means peace. This is really the goal of Israel Connection, as we focus on the Prince of Peace, the Messiah. The scriptures tell us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and we know that we will only find true peace when Messiah reigns from Jerusalem. We're currently living in a world that desperately needs peace, and we believe that peace will be brought by the Messiah when he finally returns. Of course, that peace will not come from the vision, but from the restoration of truth and the uniting of the people on the earth under his banner of truth. Now, this is a time that the prophets repeatedly spoke about, and we're not only anxiously awaiting for his return, but we here at Israel Connection are actively participating in this restoration process as we're teaching and preparing people for the second coming of the Messiah. The scriptures speak of the Messiah returning for a bride, and that bride must prepare herself for the bridegroom. She needs to wash and be cleansed as a virgin prepares for her wedding. She must be found pure and undefiled by the bridegroom. The problem is that many of us have been raised in lawless religions and denominations that fail to properly prepare us for the great wedding feast at the end of the age. In these days filled with prophetic fulfillment, those who are seeking truth and are making themselves ready as a bride need to clearly understand how they fit into the plan of redemption described in the scriptures. Otherwise, they'll be shut out, likened to the foolish virgins in the parable found in Matthew 25. During this time of preparation, Israel Connection is here to guide truth seekers to the path of restoration. This is an ancient path that has been lost or forgotten by many in modern society and through modern religious systems and denominations. It's a path that the prophets of old spoke of, and it's the path of the covenant. A covenant which was renewed by the Messiah nearly 2,000 years ago at what is commonly referred to as the Last Supper, but better known as Pesach. Pesach is one of many special appointed times described in the scriptures. It's the entranceway, or the door to the covenant path, and an important part of the prophetic plan fulfilled by the Messiah. The appointed times are known as Moedim in Hebrew, and they're critical to those who desire to walk in truth along the covenant path and overcome the difficult days ahead. Sadly, the Hebrew words and scriptural truths such as Pesach and Moedim may be foreign to many truth seekers such as yourself. While they are critical to our walk in the plan of redemption outlined in the scriptures, they've been lost or hidden behind centuries of religious traditions and countless language translations. Like the word shalom, there are many unfamiliar words and concepts to those who've not been taught the true covenant path in its original context and language. Sadly, the Hebrew scriptures have been relegated to the religion of Judaism, but those scriptures are the foundation for our belief in a Messiah. We need to understand those texts in order to understand our Creator. This is one of the goals of Israel Connection, to shed light on the scriptures in order to enhance and develop our relationship with the one we serve. Part of that begins with introducing his name. Amazingly, most people who desire to love and serve the Creator do not even know his name. They call him God, but the Hebrew scriptures refer to him as Elohim. They also refer to him as the Lord, but that's simply another title used to replace his name that is found nearly 7,000 times in the Hebrew scriptures. We're actually living in a time that the prophet Jeremiah foretold of when he proclaimed, "The nations shall come to you from the ends of the earth and say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, worthlessness, and unprofitable things. Will a man make gods for himself which are not gods? Therefore, behold, I will once cause them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is the Lord." Well, obviously, the name of Elohim is not the Lord. This quote was taken from an English translation that replaced the name with the title, the Lord. Sadly, this is a problem that most English speakers have grown up with, and even Spanish speakers have read El Señor in their Bibles. Instead of a title we actually have the privilege of knowing and using the name of the Creator, which is spelled Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh in Hebrew. Here you see the name as it actually appears in ancient Hebrew. Now we at Yisrael Connection teach, revere, and use the name as a way of clearly identifying with the one we serve. We also use the actual Hebrew name of the Son of Elohim, the Messiah, Yahushua. The Messiah actually carried the same name as the famous patriarch commonly called Joshua. This was intentional because we're supposed to learn about the Messiah from these patterns and connections, which aren't simply translation issues. They're an important part of knowing the Father and the Son and their ways. Another unfamiliar word that we use is Yisrael. Now we're not talking about the modern state of Israel or the Jewish people for that matter. Yisrael Connection is not about Judaizing Christians. Rather, we're talking about restoring the scattered people of the covenant who were exiled thousands of years ago. A people who were prophesied to lose their identity, but were also prophesied to be restored to the covenant through the Messiah in the end times. You see, Yisrael is the set-apart assembly, the people of the congregation of Elohim, described in the Scriptures. Many of us have been taught through religious traditions that the Messiah established a new and different people called the church. But that's not true. The Messiah specifically said, "I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." The Messiah came to restore his lost and scattered sheep back into the covenant. He came at a specific time, to a specific place, with a specific purpose, to a specific people, Israel. We here at Yisrael Connection are committed to shining the light of truth into the darkness of the man-made religions, traditions, and doctrines that actually hide the truth from people. We're exposing the lies of the fathers that many of us have inherited and setting the captives free. In this brief introduction, I've shown just a couple examples of those inherited traditions. You're welcome to join with us on this journey as we explore the ancient paths that lead us back to the garden, into the kingdom, and the presence of the Almighty. Therefore, if you've been called by the Messiah and you hear his voice, then we invite you to come and connect with the Scriptures, connect with prophecy, connect with the Messiah, and connect with his bride, Israel. Shalom.